So that's a good bit about Holochain. But what we're working on right now, what the team's doing currently, is rolling out Holo. And Holo is the first really large-scale application built on Holochain to enable hosting of distributed apps so that they can actually move from really particular tech spaces, right, the crypto world, out into the mainstream. And so the goal of Holo is to have distributed applications really work, which requires this mainstream participation. Holo takes hosting of major types of social apps out of centralized data centers and back onto our devices. So again, moving from centralized holdings to holdings that are scattered across the peripheries. And this is a really good thing because doing peer-to-peer hosting creates like an infrastructure that scales itself and that balances and shares the load across tons and tons, even like millions of peers. And so the question that I've gotten kind of explaining this stuff is like, well, why do you have to create a hosting ecosystem if the apps are already distributed, right? Because doesn't distributed apps mean that everyone is already holding their own data? Which is true, but the thing is that we're pushing for mainstream adoption because that's a super duper important part of creating, right, robust networks. And so we think that in the beginning, there will be a lot of folks who just want to try out particular distributed applications from their browsers, right? Before they're really sure that they want to be a full part of the community that these apps create. So you could think of users who are not hosts in the Holochain world as visitors, right? Or even kind of like people seeking shelter from the storm, right? If you think back to the huge problems with the current web. So Holo essentially is, I think about it as kind of a pragmatic compromise so that people can transition with more ease to the benefits that decentralization affords, right? To more autonomy, really. So Holo allows hosts to share their bandwidth and storage and processing power to host, right, these visitors' data. And so again, if we want mainstream users involved and informed, it would be really nice, we thought, to have them be able to access Holochain applications through web browsers, right, and by using existing payment systems to interact with these decentralized apps. Right, until they're ready to become full peers on Holochain. So what we're doing really with Holo is applying sharing economy principles of letting other people use your storage and your processing capacity, right? And this is really how all Holochain apps work, right? Through sharding and through distributed hash tables. But on Holo, hosts are providing even more spare storage and processing for new users who don't yet bring any resources to the network.